that we have for how we live with technology and how it lives with, around, and in us is really shifting. And to that end, there's this unification happening. I went to an event called Yes and Yes Yes. It was called Yes by Yes Yes, but they got a lawsuit threat from South by Southwest, so they changed the name. And there are technologists and futurists and all sorts of geeks there, and some of the people were saying things like, you know what? Singularity is coming. We're about to have robot overlords. We may as well just program them with the values that we want them to have. And the other group was saying, you know, disconnect now, disconnect now. And I feel like in San Francisco, we are at this middle way. I practice Zen meditation and often think about the middle way. We're all walking this middle line between those two groups, the people who are talking about artificial intelligence, which I study a lot, and cognitive computing, and I'm connected with the Watson team at IBM, and they're doing some phenomenal things, but there are also these people who are saying, you know, let's go do digital detox summer camp. You know, Fast Company had Baratunde Thurston, who was a keynote speaker at South by Southwest on its cover a few months ago, talking about how he regularly makes a practice of digital detox. And those two things are rising in parallel, along with, I see those going side by side, there's also sort of these other layers of things. There's technology is getting increasingly connected. You know, we live in a sensor-laden world. I talked to a guy named Jay Kepler-Corns, who's essentially, I don't know if you'll be able to look the guy up, but I can connect you if you want to, but he's essentially the MacGyver of Siemens. Siemens being a very conservative, traditional, well-respected German company. You know, you wouldn't think that they would sort of have super out there thinking. You know, they're trying to build a business, but they hired him to be their MacGyver here in San Francisco for understanding how interior spaces can become completely sensor-laden. And Siemens alone, not to mention their competitors like Honeywell, have 2 million sensed values sitting in this city of San Francisco. So just imagine the possibility when we have massive environmental, mass-scale environmental sensing, all those sensors can talk to each other. That's happening. Or people are working on that. People like Jay are working on that. There's also sort of this other connection level, and I bring this one up because, you know, all of my digital detox friends, they're thinking more about the shared economy and the way that people are connecting without technology. And there are new conferences that are popping up to that end. And I bring this up because it's a trend worth being aware of. And you know, certainly it's nothing new, but there are conferences like Share that just happened here in San Francisco. There's one in Paris called We Share. There are more and more services that are based around sort of communal ownership. And that's as relevant to this conversation as anything, because the types of connections, they're interdependent. It's not like we're about to live in a world where, I mean, some people would argue, technology's gonna win. Some people are like, no, humans are gonna win. Well, it's not a win situation. There are connections happening in both ways, and it's about figuring out how to